Good afternoon. My name is Roderick Green, and I'm the Vice Chair of the Washington County Road Commission. I'll be acting as the chairperson for this meeting this afternoon in the absence of our chairperson, Barbara Fuller. I would like to start off by thanking the Road Commission for their thoughts, prayers, and well wishes in the passing of my wife. And before we begin, we have a few housekeeping items, which our communications manager, Ms. Emma Kaiser, is going to cover at this time. Ms. Kaiser.
Thanks, Commissioner. So if you would like to make public comment during this meeting, we will prompt you at the appropriate time in the agenda to virtually raise your hand. If you're viewing the meeting from your computer, we'll provide instructions as to how to do that. Same if you're joining us from your touch tone phone. The chat feature on this Zoom meeting is available, but only as technical support for people who have joined us on their computer or their smartphone. If you are a Road Commission employee or commissioner who are having technical issues, please contact the IT help desk and they can help you. Everybody else, if you want to message me in chat, I can try to assist via chat. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded. A link to the video will be posted to wcroads.org and to our YouTube channel in the next day or two. Today's meeting agenda is also posted to wcroads.org, and I'll put a link into the chat shortly if you are joining us from your computer. Thanks, Commissioner.
Thank you. And at this time, we're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to ask for a roll call for attendance.
Thanks again, Commissioner. So as Commissioner Green mentioned, Chair Barb Fuller has a prearranged absence. And so I'm going to start the roll with Commissioner Rod Green.
I'm here from Washington.
Commissioner, oh, sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
Superior Township in Washington County.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Commissioner Doug Fuller is present and is attending virtually from Scioto Township.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
I am president and I am here virtually from Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County.
And Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Good afternoon. I'm present and I am attending virtually from Ypsilanti Township, Washtenaw County.
Managing Director Sadal.
Here.
County Highway Engineer McDonnell.
Present.
Director of Operations Harmon.
Present.
And Director of Finance and IT Ackerman.
Here.
Thank you very much. Please join us in a moment of silence to honor and recognize our first responders, our Road Commission workers, and those who have suffered and died from this coronavirus. Thank you very much. Our next item is the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Chair, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Is there support?
I support that motion.
Is there, may we have a roll call vote?
Yep. Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes,
And Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
I believe Joanne's having audio problems. She cannot unmute herself.
Hold on, Joanne. Let me help you out here. One sec. There you go. You should be able to. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the acceptance of minutes. We have two sets of minutes, a board meeting of minutes of May 18th of 2021 and a working session minutes of May 18th of 2021. May I have a motion regarding the board meeting minutes of May 18th, 2021?
I would like to move the motion to accept the board meeting minutes of May 18th, 2021.
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and supported. Is there any discussion on these items? May we have a roll call vote?
Yep. Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes,
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
And Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes. Next, we have working session minutes of May 18th of 2021. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of the working session?
Vice Chair, I move that we accept the working session minutes of May 8th, 2021.
Is there,
Second,
thank you very much. It's been probably moved and supported that the working session minutes of May 18th of 2021 be adopted. Is there any discussion on this item? May we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Doug Fuller.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next item is public comment. This is the time site on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended for a period of dialogue, and each person will be allowed 3 minutes to address the board. Is there any public comment? Is there anyone to address the board at this time?
Thanks, Commissioner. I'm going to give a brief intro or overview of the instructions, and then we will see if there's anybody that has virtually raised their hand. So if
Thank
you would
you.
like to make public comment, please virtually raise your hand now. And you could do that by, if you're viewing the meeting on your computer, you want to first make sure to click join audio. And you can raise your hand by clicking the participants button at the bottom of your screen and then the raise hands button. It may also be found under the reactions button. Zoom has recently updated, and so it depends on what update version you're at where you'll find that. But either under the participants or the reactions button, and then the raise hand button. If you dialed into the meeting from your touchtone phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. And as Commissioner Green mentioned, I will unmute people one at a time with a raised hand, and I'll announce your username or the last 4 digits of your phone number when it's your turn to speak. Is there anybody that would like to virtually raise their hand? At this time, Commissioner, we don't have anybody with a raised hand.
Thank you very much. Our next item is written communications. Is there any response or dialogue regarding the written communications which are found on page 18? Commissioner Doug Fuller?
No? No comment?
Commissioner Yamas?
No comment.
Commissioner McCollum?
No comment.
Thank you. The next item is commissioner and staff follow-up to any public comment. Well, we had none. So I'm assuming that there is none. Our next business is our next item is new business. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented?
Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to move the consent agenda as presented, items 1 through 15.
Thank you very much. Is there support?
Second.
It's been probably moved and supported that the consent agenda be adopted. Is there any discussion on this item? May we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
and Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Our next item is the action item, which is found on pages 47 through 59. And I'm going to turn it over to our managing director, Ms. Siddall, to give us some insight on this.
Sure thing. I'll give a brief introduction and we'll see if Kurt Roche, our right-of-way specialist, can assist with that as well. Essentially, we have received a request to abandon 2 roadways. One of them is a piece of Abigail Drive, and the other one is a portion of Francis Way. Both of them are in Superior Township, and they are part of the Prospect Point subdivision. If you recall, several years ago, we made a change to our public road development so that any new subdivisions coming in will be private for the most part. And so in this situation, both this portion of Abigail Drive and Francis Way are public road rights of way. They are outlots that had been reserved for extensions of the Prospect Point subdivision. But since the newer parts of the subdivision will be private, these no longer need to be dedicated for public use. So therefore, that's the basis of the request for the abandonment in this circumstance. So I don't know if there's anything that Matt or Kurt would like to add to that.
Cheryl, Matt has asked me to share a slot or share a screen on this. Hold on one sec. I'll pull this up.
Okay.
I
We'll
think
get
it'd
to
be
this.
helpful to see the page 48 of the board packet shows an aerial view of what we're talking about. Yeah, so you can see this is the subdivision that's being referenced. It's Prospect Point subdivision, and the subdivision is developed, essentially built out. The developer owns the piece of vacant land just west of, to the left side of the page. And you can see these two stub streets, Abigail and Francis Way, have cul-de-sacs on them for us to turn around and maintain these public roads. What is essentially being asked is they're looking to develop the next phase and develop it using a site condominium. In doing so, there'll be private roads. And the need for these stub streets to be public is no longer needed. So our maintenance responsibilities for the stub streets are not needed, and they can gain access via permit with a private road. And ultimately that falls in line with our procedures and regulations for developing public roads. So the Prospect Point subdivision is a plat. So this is the first step, is to essentially abandon, and then if this action moves forward, the developer attorney would then work towards amending the plat. So, Kurt, did I miss anything?
No, and I'll just add, my understanding through Mark McCullough permits is that ultimately they are going through the plat revision process, working with Margie Dixon of legal counsel's suggestion.
Yeah, and we'll be working with the township and the developer to permit the next phase of the development. And we haven't heard any objections. In fact, everyone signed off on the petition, and we're ready to move forward. If there's any questions from the board.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner, I'm sorry. I look like Commissioner McCollum has a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, just a short summary, what's the benefit for the residents in the subdivision, and what's the benefit for the road commission for the abandonment of the roads? Are we taking them on?
No, abandoned mean we'd be not taking care of them any longer. And it's just the subdivision stub streets where the arrows are pointing. So we're only talking 100 feet of road. Ultimately, no one lives on those stub streets. So there's no advantage or disadvantage for the residents. Advantage for the road commissioners, we no longer have to worry about it. And that it would be taken on as a private road in the future development of the site to the west. And that's in accordance with our board adopted policy.
Yeah, this is very common. Many of the subdivisions that were developed as public roads, such as Prospect Point, have these little turnarounds, or what we call these outlots. And the intent is that when future phases were coming along, that's where they would connect into the current subdivision. And then along came our change in our public road development standards, which for subdivisions now, the majority of those are private roads. And as Matt indicated, this next phase of Prospect Point would be developed as private roads. So we no longer need those little tiny pieces of road where those turnarounds are. Those do not need to be public any longer. So we are basically abandoning or relinquishing our interest in those little stub streets.
Thank you.
Mhm. Commissioner Yamas?
Dr. Racing, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so if I lived in that subdivision, I probably would be gladly have a public road rather than a private road. So we will, those streets will remain public with the exception of these small tails, correct?
That
Okay,
is correct.
all right, thank you.
That was my question as well. So I think we're ready for the resolution, are we? Mr. Fuller,
Be happy to make a motion.
please do.
Whereas this board has received a petition from at least 7 freeholders of the Superior Charter Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan, praying for the absolute abandonment and discontinuance of a portion of Abigail Drive lying between lots 1 and 86, being a part of the plat of Prospect Point Subdivision Number 1, as more particularly described in Attachment A, Abigail Drive abandonment, and abandonment and discontinuance of a portion of Francis Way to the east of Lot 199 of the plat of Prospect Point Subdivision Number 2, as more particularly described in Attachment B, Francis Way abandonment. Whereas it appears from viewing the premises and hearing the petitioner's reasons that it is in the best interest of the public that the portion of said public right-of-way of the aforementioned Abigail Drive in the plat of Prospect Point Subdivision Number 1 be absolutely abandoned, and that the portion of said public right-of-way of the aforementioned Francis Way in the plat of Prospect Point Subdivision Number 2 be absolutely abandoned. Excuse me just a second. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Road Commissioners of the County of Washtenaw that the portion of the above described public right-of-way of Abigail Drive lying between lots 1 and 86 and the portion of the above described public right-of-way of Francis Drive to the east of Lot 199, being under the jurisdiction of the Washtenaw County Road Commission, is hereby absolutely abandoned and discontinued as public right-of-way, accepting and receiving an easement, accepting and reserving an easement for public utilities of record and or use as now occupying said right-of-way.
Support.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been properly moved and supported. Is there any discussion on this resolution, on this item? May we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes,
and Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item is the county commissioner reports. Do we have any county commissioners in attendance?
We do have Commissioner Sanders here. I'm going to go ahead and ask her to unmute if she has a report.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you should have a message that asks you to unmute if you want to provide comment. I think she may have stepped away. Commissioner, I'll let you know, Commissioner Green, if she wants to make comment in a little bit.
Sure, we can come back to her. Is Commissioner Schenk here?
Commissioner Schenk is not in attendance.
Okay. Do we have any road commission reports? Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Doug Fuller turned in his report.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
I just want to report that I attended and forgot to report that the virtual 2021 construction season kickoff meeting, which was very good. That began. Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes, on May 24th, I attended the West Willow Traffic Committee meeting to review the upcoming work on US 12 M17 road improvements. On May 26th, I attended the Gravel Road Basics webinar, and I attended the weekly chat with a commissioner meeting. Thank you.
thank you very much. And I have nothing to report. Can we check again with County Commissioner Sanders to see if she's available?
I sent her a message, Commissioner, and I have not heard back. So I don't think she has a report at this time.
Okay. Then we'll turn things over to our Managing Director, Cheryl Siddall.
Sure. I'd like to start with sharing with you, unfortunately, this morning, we did have an incident where one of our employees was hit by a vehicle. That was part of our chip sealing operation. The good news, if there is good news on this, is that he appears to be okay. Minor injuries only. Obviously, that has shaken everybody up. We are in the process of investigating the incident to see exactly what happened, if there's any lessons to be learned from us, and certainly the motorist did stop, so everything, the investigation is proceeding accordingly. We have been contacted by several media outlets on it as well. Again, the information that we have at this time is limited, and mostly we are hoping that our employee remains, okay from the incident. And again, we'll stay tuned if we have any further information that we can share on that. Be happy to answer any questions. I don't have a lot of information, but certainly happy to answer any questions if you have any right now.
I do.
Sure thing.
Did we take the affected employee to a hospital?
He has been treated and seen by medical personnel, yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner McCollum?
Yes, I have concern about the increase. It seems like an increase in rise of these incidents. And I was wondering if there was something that maybe the state was doing to put something in effect to make it safer for workers on the road.
As far as any specific programs, I know worker safety is certainly something that is promoted, and we just came off of National Work Zone Awareness in the month of April. So there's been national and statewide campaigns on that. I'm not aware of anything specific other than just in general worker safety. I know Jim and I were just talking about it earlier, to continue to promote that within our own workforce, and as much as we can with the motoring public. Obviously, it's a grave concern to us. We saw an increase in incidents last year, and I think around the state as well.
Thank you.
Commissioner Green?
Yes. So my question is, were any safety protocols violated by the driver? Or, I mean, what can we do to protect our workers? Because that's gotta be a #1 priority for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we're looking into the incident right now to better understand what exactly was taking place, both within our own operations and with respect to the motorist. The Sheriff's Department has been on the scene as well, investigating. So we'll have more information on that still to come, but certainly continuing to promote awareness, both as a driver and as a worker amongst our own workforce, is paramount. Like you said, our most valuable asset was this time and time again is our workforce, and we absolutely want them to go home safely at the end of each and every day. So if there's anything that we can learn from it, we certainly are hoping to have that be our takeaway.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Like I said, I'm sharing what we know right now, and obviously there'll be more to come, both with the board and with our workforce at large. On another front, I sent out communication last week. There have been additional changes with respect to MIOSHA and MDHHS health orders that are out there and workplace orders. So we continue to follow those and adjust our preparedness plan accordingly. We are also looking at opening our office, opening the lobby to the public sometime in early July. So we continue to remain vigilant with respect to any changes there as well, so that we can not only stay compliant as an employer, but also hopefully moving towards increased service to the public as well on that front. So are there any questions on any of that before I hand it over to the directors? All right. Well, we've obviously continued despite the holiday weekend to be quite busy. So Jim, if you want to start off with respect to operations.
Sure, Cheryl. Thank you and good afternoon. Board members, the operations staff report can be found in your packet beginning on page 61 and ending on page 65. Happy to answer any questions that you may have about that information. Certainly was a very productive 2-week period. Highlights today, we are chip sealing. We completed Stony Creek this morning, and we're actively chip sealing Gloria Crane Road while we meet right now. So that'll be done here shortly, and weather permitting, we'll continue to move around the county in a counterclockwise direction, heading north along the east portion of the county. Probably another couple weeks of chip sealing, and then we'll begin our fog seal operations starting where we began the chip sealing, down in rural Manchester Township on Herman Road. In addition, our contractor is actively milling Miller Road between the new bridge over the Honey Creek and Zeeb Road. That is a county millage project for this year. So they're actively milling, and we'll be preparing for paving hopefully this week, weather permitting. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have of me.
Jim, it looks like Commissioner McCollum has a question.
Yes, Jim, I was just wondering if we had any videos of boom mowing in the county. I mean, I know that would be kind of strange, you videotaping your work, but I was just wondering, you know, it seems like there is a concern by residents of the boom mowing. And I just wanted to know if we had any kind of videos on it. Even if it's a generic video, I guess that's fine too.
I'm not aware of any videos that we've taken, that staff's taken, of actively boom mowing the right of way.
Okay, so maybe I can find something on YouTube, and then I'll send it, if it's okay, send it to you, and you can see if it's something similar to what you all do. I don't want to get something that, you know, someone else has done and you guys don't do it that way.
Exactly. Yep.
So, okay.
Commissioner McCollum, I can help you with some information. If you wanted to, if you want to share some information, I can help you to compile something. We've got photos that we can share and that kind of thing too.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Looks like Commissioner Green also has a question.
Yes, Jim, what's the timetable for reopening Getty's Road, if you know?
Getty's Road is reopened. I think the only major activity that's going on out there, Commissioner Green, is the ongoing utility work by DTE at the intersection of Dixboro and Getty's.
Thank you.
But our road improvement between the roundabout at Superior and Dixboro was completed several days ago.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Jim? All right, Matt, would you like to bring us up to speed on engineering?
Sure, I'll just do quick highlights. Certainly the Dennis Road Bridge is moving along nicely. We did receive our beams, and the contractor put the concrete beams in place on Thursday. So essentially the abutments are done, and we're going to start work on the deck. So that's progressing nicely. As Jim indicated, Miller Road hopefully will get opened by the end of the week. The bridge work paving was completed, as was the paving east of the bridge between the roundabout and the bridge. So after the millage project is done, that will be a really nice stretch of Miller Road. Looking forward to that reopening. Zeeb Road Phase 2, we're going to have a pre-construction meeting tomorrow. And tomorrow as well is the virtual information meeting, construction information meeting for the US 12 M17. And OHM will be presenting that virtual meeting via Zoom. Any other updates? We are certainly covered with our project updates that get sent out. If you have any questions on any of the active projects, I'd be happy to answer.
Matt, it looks like Commissioner McCollum has a question.
Not really a question, a comment. I think that I just want to say thank you for all the communication on the US 12 and M17. The posters that were, our posters, the printouts that were provided, the meetings, the detour, everything is just done so well and professional and very understanding to, I think, any resident. I understand it. So I think anyone can understand it if I can. I want to say I appreciate all the work that you put in it and the connection with the community. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. I will certainly pass that along as well to our consultant who's handling that project. OHM Advisors is a very capable firm, and I think we'll do a nice job in administering the project in the construction phase.
Yeah, it's a big project with a lot of impact. All right. Dan, you want to be our cleanup hitter today?
Sure, gladly. Thanks, Cheryl. I'll direct the board to the last page of the board packet, and the April Michigan Transportation Fund numbers are in. And I'm glad everybody's sitting down because it's up 43% from April of 2020. So initially I thought that's got to be a mistake. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. So I reached out to my contact at MDOT. They said, nope, those numbers are good. And basically we're comparing April of 2021. I don't want to say post-pandemic, but at least things are improving compared to we're getting right into the heart of the pandemic in April of 2020. And she also mentioned there's a strong gasoline revenue. So apparently people are getting out and about. So we will take it. Year to date, we're up almost 9%. And Cheryl and I have a friendly wager, and she's winning. And I'm glad, because that means that we're seeing even more revenues than I was expecting. So any questions on that at all? Yes, we'll take it for sure. So hopefully that trend continues. I don't know if I've ever seen it up by 43%, comparing 1 month to the previous year, the same month. So we'll take it. So hopefully we'll see that the next month too. And just a reminder, so when we go over the second quarter budget, if our trends continue, we can make adjustments to MTF at that time. Besides that, I've been continuing to work with Jackie and Tracy with training, and they're doing well and getting more and more up to speed every day, but there's a lot involved, but that's going well. And we're going to be working on our first township billings. Jim and his team has worked really hard to get very robust township agreement programs in place, and we're going to work on those first set of billings to go out hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. And besides that, I did want to mention that Chris Quinter has found some excellent cybersecurity training for the organization. A lot of the management team here has gone through it, and they're nice and short and very informative and interesting. And we're gonna ask that we have mandatory training for anyone that has a road commission laptop or cell phone. And that does mean the commissioners would be included. One of the things that I like about it is there's a lot of takeaways you can have in your personal life too. I'm sure all of you have personal emails, and you probably read every day there's ransomware attacks and cyber attacks. The bad guys are getting more and more creative, and we feel it's long overdue that we've mandated this for the organization. And really what we're trying to do is just educate and try and stay ahead of things as best we can. So Chris will have a communication on that later, but be looking for that. And certainly if you have questions or concerns, let us know. But you know, we just feel that it's extremely important that we can educate as best we can, and again, just do whatever we can to try and stay ahead of things. And that's my report, unless there's any questions.
All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dan. And thank you for bringing up specifically the cybersecurity as well. That is something that we're taking very seriously. As Dan indicated, several of us did the training last week. Thankfully, they broke it down into little like minute and a half little segments on different topics. And it went by very quick, and it made sense and easy to follow. So it's well worth your time, and we will appreciate your participation on that. So Commissioner Green, that's what we have from the staff side of things.
Thank you. Those are some very good reports, especially the item about the 43% increase. That's great news. If I'm not incorrect, I think that concludes our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'd be happy to make such a motion.
Support?
This is support. It's been properly moved and supported that we have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Doug Fuller,
Aye.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes.
and Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes. We are adjourned. Be safe, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.